Welcome back to the That's Rank podcast, the podcast where we rank listeners' ideas on the fly. My name is Liam.
I'm Taryn.
And I am Roberto.
See, that's the thing. Now we're doing the video stuff. Mid swig, he's trying to introduce himself, and that was a
underwater.
Did you hear the swig?
Okay, yeah, I heard you, and also saw you blow your nose. Great start to the.
I didn't blow my nose, Liam. I just
You just knocked a loogie on the floor. That's great.
Well, as you can see, we are here recording our very first episode using video online. Welcome, and to our audio listeners, thank you very much for listening in as always. What do we do here, Taryn? What do we do?
We record a podcast where we rank listener topics on the fly, as you said.
Yes.
We get these topics from users on our social channels, but a little bit more about that later. We get 5 minutes each to rank the
5 minutes
battle to the death.
Battle to the
on
death.
the topic that I'm really loving that backup singer vibe of like backup death battler vibe.
Yeah. Always. Yeah.
We get 5 minutes each to argue our topic, and then we rank them all together at the end from 1 to 3, and it is the top 3 of the topic all together, and one person wins the round. So that's how that works.
That's
Rob,
right.
do you want to tell people how they could potentially give us ideas for topics?
Absolutely. We love to hear from our listeners. We've got a great community of the rankers out there, and we want to hear from you. So you can find us on thatsrankpod at Gmail, thatsrankpod at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you just look at That's Rank Pod, we'll be or just type into Google best ranking pod, or even just best pod, we should come up. Then you can just get in touch with us. And we are streaming video and audio, and I've just realized it's different. I was like, I'm kind of behaving like I would normally, so I was blowing my nose and I was drinking wine thinking it's perfectly fine, and it only just occurred to me when Taryn was speaking that, oh wait, this is going onto the tubes now.
That's right.
You're famous now, buddy. Get used to it.
I'm famous.
You got your grape juice. I've got my apple juice. Taryn, what are you drinking?
I had a coffee, in the afternoon because I'm going out later, but I've got my water.
Oh, look at that. Hydro homie over there. Love to see it. So guys, here we are. We got a little remote setup. How are we all feeling?
Good.
Look at this guy. You guys remember this guy?
Bright.
Feeling good. I'm feeling crispy. Even if I'm not looking crispy, I'm feeling crispy.
You are crispy. All right, so let's look at fried chicken. You're crispy. Should I spin the wheel?
Oh, let's do it, please.
Oh, he's off. All right, what do we got?
How's that sound quality?
Pretty good. Now, as always, as is tradition on the That's Rank podcast, I've actually not got the list of topics ready to go. 1 second.
Why would you?
Why would I? The number. Number 16 today. 16. Okay.
I feel like there's been lots of teen numbers lately.
16, feeling keen.
So number 16. Today we're going to rank the best. Well, today we're going to rank the first thing you would do if you won Lotto. So, Rob, you did say that this is something that we do, and Taryn, you said this also. Listeners' ideas come to us. This one came to us by our listener, Matt, our good friend Matt, who listens over in Sydney, sent us this idea. We need more ideas, though. So send them in, and obviously like, share, subscribe, give us all those lovely things, give us a 5-star review, leave a comment, do all the fun stuff. All the things that all the other places tell you to do it for us too.
Yeah, please. It really does make a difference.
It does make a difference. It does make a difference. Now, Lotto, everyone's get out of jail quick scheme. Everyone's like, God, I hate my life. I'm going to spend $25 on this piece of paper, and hope to Betsy that it turns into billions and millions of dollars, and I can just.
What's that ad? The Powerball problems? I don't know. We'll go more into it, but
the Powerball problems. What are the Powerball?
Have you not seen that ad campaign?
I think so. No.
So Lottery West, I think it was, did a Powerball. Yeah, Powerball problems. You know what the Powerball is, obviously.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yes,
I've spent many a dollar on the Powerball.
Just check, because some people who are maybe not listening from Australia don't know what it is. But Powerball is like the big power. No, the big Powerball.
Big power. Wow, the most powerful ball. The most powerful ball.
It's a giant ball that rolls down a hill.
And if you manage to dodge
society with it,
it either kills you or gives you $1 million. It's one or the other.
Yeah, it's the biggest lottery of. How often does Powerball happen?
It happens once a week, Taryn. Once a week every Thursday.
Every Thursday.
Really, I didn't even
But
know
it goes
that.
up. So if no one gets to Powerball, it goes up, and
Yeah.
it can escalate quickly. So it can go from like 4 to 8 to
Mhm.
20 to 40
So-
to
See,
80
this
to
is the-
100, and before you know it, it's like 120 million, and everyone's just going crazy for it.
Yeah.
And this is what I find though, right? Because I always try to strategize the lotto, which makes no sense because no matter how you do it, it's still going to give you the same amount of chance of winning. But I'm always like, well, if a big jackpot goes off, it's like 150 mil. You know that every person is going to have a ticket for that, maybe two. But once that goes off, it goes back down to like 5 mil.
Mm.
And so it's just like, oh, now's my chance because no one's going to be buying tickets. Like that makes a fucking difference.
Yeah, you're thinking the exact same as everyone else.
Yeah. But
Yeah, so the ad campaign was have Powerball problems. So it's like some guy having to call in a helicopter mechanic because his private helicopter couldn't get his kid to school in
That's
time.
right.
Because
That's
there was
right.
like a little bit of a problem. It's like, get some Powerball problems.
Oh man, do you know what's messed up about that though? Is that if you won Powerball, even if you happen to win $150 million, it probably ain't going to get you a helicopter. It probably ain't going to get you a helicopter that you can maintain for, forever and ever. That's like a billionaire's kind of problem,
I mean,
So
who needs?
can we
Who needs it?
rephrase the question? Is the
We can-
question, what's the number one thing you would do if you win the lottery?
Yep.
Just the lottery. How
Just
much?
the lottery, yeah.
How much we're talking? Because you can win the Saturday Lotto and get like 900,000,
Well, I mean,
or you
I
can win
played
Powerball and get 100 million.
That's right. Well, I played Powerball last week and I won $10.90. We're not talking about that.
What did you do? What did you do?
What you do with the
$10.90?
$10.90?
What I'm going to do is invest another $14 and then buy a new ticket.
I was just about to say, people either reinvest.
Yeah.
You know what I did this morning?
What's that?
And this might give my topic away though. So hold on. Yeah,
Oh.
this might give my thing away.
Okay, we won't go into it.
Save that one. Save that one. Put that back.
That's what happens though. Like
Hmm.
my best lotto win has been $120, right? And I thought that was really good. When I looked at my ticket, it was one of those Saturday ones that Rob was just saying, and it was like the special ones. It's like 30 million every now and then. They just do a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
Buy a ticket, and I got 4 numbers out of 6, and I'm like, that's got to be worth something. That's got to be worth something. And so when I looked at my winnings and it was like you've won $110, I was a little bit disappointed because I'm like getting 4 out of 6 is a pretty good effort.
Yeah.
I mean not
getting
effort.
5 out of 6 is even better, but
Yeah, but even if you get 5 out of 6, it's like I know this is nothing to be sneezed at, but it's like maybe $15,000. You're like, okay, cool. When the jackpot's 30 mil, and you get one number shy of that, you're thinking to yourself, "Yo, my life has just changed." But that $120 I put directly back into new tickets for other things.
Interesting.
And look, Lottery West, who runs the lottery here, does a lot of good charity work. Like they are like the money that you put into Lotto actually does generally go to good places. It's a good little donation to charitable causes. It gives you, and the way I look at it is, it's buying me a little bit of hope. As I go through the week and I'm in the grind and I'm working on my own goals and I'm trying to do the best I can. I get a Lotto ticket, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I've got a little chance here. There's a little bit of hope that maybe I'll get a big win, and then my life will shift and change. And then what would I do? What would I do? That is the question we're here to answer today.
Yeah, because
it's hard to answer because I've given this extensive thought.
Have you?
In the past 4 seconds?
No, just in the past several years of my life. Like I often sit there and go, what would I do if I won Lotto? What would I do if I won Lotto?
Taryn, you must have done this as well. Had like a...
I've done it, yeah. I'm vehemently against buying lottery tickets for my own lack of self-control. I don't think I'll get carried away, but I'm just like, I'm on the other spectrum of where Rob is. Like, oh, there's a bit of hope. I'm like, there is absolutely no hope. The statistics are so low. And even if you do happen to win, it's usually someone who's like never entered the lotto before and they buy one ticket on the off chance.
I used to crushing my dreams, Darren.
The only thing I've ever won before was a Carly Rae Jepsen CD in a radio competition that I didn't even realize I entered.
Wait,
love those ones. Yeah, I was still in Queensland, so I was like little, and I won a Carly Rae Jepsen CD, and I don't even know what I entered because my parents didn't let me enter stuff on the internets when we had a family computer back then.
Yeah.
So someone entered me into a radio comp, and I got a CD in the mail.
Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty good win. That's a pretty good win.
That's
Rob,
a
do you
I
have
didn't even know who Carly Rae Jepsen was.
I
Now
did.
do.
I once won a trip to Luang Prabang.
What?
really?
It's Luang Prabang, which is a UNESCO World Heritage listed city in
Oh,
northern Laos. It's up in the mountains. It's a beautiful city. Now, I was living in Laos, so it's not like I won a trip to Luang Prabang from Perth, but I won it from Vientiane, the capital, and they flew me and a friend up there. We stayed in a 5-star hotel, like legitimately amazing hotel, and went to
Wow.
the Luang Prabang Film Festival as a special guest
That's pretty neat.
Amazing.
for a
That's a
weekend.
pretty good prize.
That was actually a really good prize. I was like, damn. But as soon as I won it, I felt a little bit guilty because I was kind of thinking, out of all the people in this country, I'm already overpaid. Like I'm already
no.
like the Westerner coming in, and I feel like someone else should have won it. Who
No.
I felt guilty.
You gotta take those things when they come to you. They don't come to people very often.
Yeah.
Like I think when you win something, regardless of where you're at, you'd be like, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah,
I'll take that. I mean, I think that
I took
my
it.
biggest one. Of course, yeah. Did you feel bad once you were
I
there?
cried my guilt into the silk pillows. I was like, oh, I'm so guilty. And then I threw the pillow away and get me another pillow. I cried like 20 pillows worth. It was crazy.
Hey, what's a pillow menu for if not to cry into them and refresh them every 5 minutes?
Exactly right.
I think my biggest win was when I was in high school. I think year 12, I went to a Perth Wildcats game, which is basketball over here. And it was the old Perth Entertainment Centre before they demolished it and rebuilt it all. And I was sitting literally 2 rows from the back. And you know how those you know how they have those games at quarter time, half time? They come into the crowd and they choose someone. They're like, oh, you, come on. Second row from the back, I thought there's no chance in hell. They're like, oh, get your Bank West card out and start shaking it around. If we pick you, you can come for a halftime game. They picked me right at the back. They came and picked me. And
man with the fluorescent hair.
That's right. I went to a all boys Catholic high school. Dyeing your hair was very much frowned upon. Very much frowned upon.
Okay. What did you win?
Well, I had to get down to the court at halftime, and I had to chase the mascot around the court.
Yeah.
The mascot was covered in $5 notes, so I had to chase him around. Bless you, Taryn. I had to chase him around and
that's humiliating.
Rip off as many of those $5 notes as I could in the 2 minutes they gave me to do so.
Did you do it?
God, yeah. I think I got like $235, which for something in high school was pretty rad.
Yeah, that's heaps.
That's wicked.
Humiliation worthwhile.
That's right. Well, I wasn't humiliated. I caught the mascot and I pinned his legs over his head and started ripping the $5 notes off the back of his
really?
back. Yeah.
Poor guy was so traumatized.
Then picks up a chair, smashes him over the head.
Listen, I was massive into wrestling then too. Like,
you would have been.
I was just like, can I suplex this guy and not get sued potentially? So, okay, but we've spoken about the small wins, but what about the big one? Taryn, you asked me before, or we asked us, not just me.
Just like
you asked me. Rob wasn't here. Just pretending. What's the amount? What's the amount we're talking about? Yeah. So when people say lotto win, like Rob was saying before, we talk about the big money, the big dollars, the big dollar bills, y'all.
Yeah.
So what are we going to say?
I think it'll have to be like a lottery win that solves your problems. Like I think it's one of those where what is that one where it's like there was a
set for life?
Set for life.
So set for life is what, 20K a month for 20 years?
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds pretty nice. That sounds amazing, actually. But
sounds really good.
That's really good. But should we put, so we say 50 mil?
Yeah.
50 mil? Okay.
Yeah, just a cheeky.
I'll take it.
Just a cheeky. Yeah, you take it.
I guess.
So 50 mil. What are we going to, now, Taryn, you said before that you had something that you might want to potentially use as yours. Would you like to go first?
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm just going to get my little timer up here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Timer is ready. Your 5 minutes begins. And now.
Okay. So I entered those little scratchies at work. Some guy was walking around and doing a scratchy competition raffle thing. And I entered it because the proceeds were going to some worthwhile cause. And I ended up winning out of like the 6 that I purchased. I ended up winning onto a total of $35. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Very
Well done.
much. Set for
Claps to
life,
Taryn.
can we say?
Claps to Taryn.
And on the way into the city this morning, on my way to the shops, I passed a homeless person who asked me for change, and like I don't know anyone that carries cash anymore, and I certainly didn't have. Oh no, I had a $50 note, so I guess I'm an asshole because I didn't give that to him. But
well, 50 bucks is hard. $50 is hard to come by nowadays. I mean, I wouldn't have given them 50.
And I had plans to use it. I needed to go buy something, so I felt bad.
Right.
But I was just coming out into the train station and ended up cashing in my lottery win, and it was $35, and he gave it to me in cash. So I went back and gave the guy. I needed $10 for the parking, and I was going to use the 20 for the 50 and the 70 to buy what I needed to buy for $70. So I gave him $5. And I was like, because I've had it happen to me before when someone asks for money at the train station to get on the bus or the train or whatever it is, and then they immediately go and spend it on alcohol. And like you do when you're homeless, you got to do what you got to do to survive. Sure. Absolutely no judgment. I just don't give money away because I either don't have it or I'm just not thinking too hard about it. I just keep walking, which is what most of us do, which is pretty shit. Yeah. But I interviewed for my podcast, the one where I interview business owners. I interviewed a woman whose name I'm now totally going to forget. Katie, I want to say, Katie Lou. She runs a charity, a non-profit that basically doesn't just fund like a homeless shelter or anything like that. It funds a business that basically attracts homeless or people without a home to work in the businesses. So like cafes, coffee shops. And it provides things like, uniforms or clean clothing, facilities to get clean and not necessarily to sleep, because that's a whole nother initiative, is the housing for our homeless population in Perth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in a roundabout way, I'm trying to say that I think I would take my $50 million and I would probably try and prioritize my life in 2 ways. I would try to preserve enough money for myself. So out of that $35, that's using the little reference from before. The $10 was to cover me for life essentials. The $20 was to fund something like life experience or something that I really want to do with my life. So maybe traveling, going over to Germany, establishing a life for myself, making myself comfortable in a position where I can earn more money to then feed into that $5 proportion, if we're looking at it as percentages, to then invest into community or charity. So I think the number one thing that I would do with $50 million lottery is prioritize it into those 3 categories: for comfort, establishing a life, etc., necessities, that sort of thing, and then reinvest into a cause, I think. So I don't know if that answers the question properly, because I say the one way to do it would be to prioritize it into 3 categories.
Well, let's use the wording. You got a minute left. Literally, the first thing. What's the first thing?
After you do with it?
After you celebrate, of course.
Yeah. I don't think I would celebrate, because I don't think I'd want people to know that I have won the lottery.
Oh, no, 100%. 100%. You can celebrate by yourself.
Yeah, I can literally, true. The one thing I do,
yes,
this is so shallow. Yes. Well, I don't know, because the first thing I did was give away $5 when I won 35.
Yeah, but charity can be your answer.
Right.
Like the one
thing. And
thing.
before I think about it too hard, because once I get too into my head about it, I think I'd want to just give away a proportion. So maybe I should start planning how much I'd give away based like a percentage. I'd do the giveaway first, because by the time I start planning, buying the bottles of champagne to celebrate, investing in a motorcycle because I'm going to get my motorcycle license, or an apartment because I want to live in comfort in this place that I've chosen, I think the bills would start stacking up and I would feel too guilty. So I think I would give it away. Not all of it. A percentage.
There's your time.
It's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
That's a good answer.
Yeah. Good answer.
Yes. I'm my most convoluted response. Maybe because there's a camera on me. I'm like, they're going to justify myself now because they can see what an asshole I am.
Listen, this is the thing, right? It's the first time we're doing it on the camera, so actually usually we do this in the same room together.
Yeah.
So
We
I'm
look
going to
at
make
each
eye
other.
contact directly, and you guys already know this
Yeah.
about me, so it's fine.
But I think it's a good answer because like it's one thing that everyone says they'll do, right? I think you're the kind of person who would actually follow up on that, though.
But that's why I think I'd have to do it first, because you give someone enough time to think about things, and you're like, well, buy my mom a new like place to live in where she's far away from things that can harm her, and you know, all that would be a charity, right? And you
Yeah,
would eventually
100%.
just start justifying shit. So I think I would
Well,
just
I mean,
take 10K and give it to my favorite charity.
yeah,
Take $1
I mean,
million, give it to my favorite.
if you've got family members in need, I do consider that a form of charity for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Looking after other people, basically. So the first thing you would do if you won lotto was to actually just think about other people who needed it. That could be your family, that could be your friends, your fellow podcast hosts, that could be a charity. I think it's a.
We're both charity cases right here.
We're both charity cases, right?
How much
I
did you
think that's
say
a
your
good answer.
microphone costs?
That's a really good
Hey,
answer.
listen, I work very hard for this microphone. Thank you very much.
It's funny because someone said I work as a social worker and I work in a hospital, and honestly, one of the questions I ask, because often we can't actually help. We actually don't have anything that we can do because the services that are out there, the support that's out there, so a lot of what we do is just kind of acknowledge how difficult a situation is, and we try to sit with people in that, and you try to just hear them and listen to them, and maybe help form, like in their mind, like form a little bit of a plan, or even just simplifying the next actual steps, or even just prioritizing the here and now, like right here, you're in hospital, you got to do this. But I'll often ask, like, is there anything else I can do? Like, is there anything that we've missed today? Is there anything I can do to help you? The amount of people that say, oh, you can help me win a lotto. And I was like, yeah. I always make a joke. I'm like,
yeah.
But honestly,
see, if I had your role, that would
it's
be
the most common thing. Yeah. And every time someone says that to me, I go, yeah, you know what? You need it more than me. Like, I realize, I'm like, yeah, actually, I'm like, because I've just heard their story. And I'm like, damn, actually, this person really does freaking need the money,
Yeah.
And so I think there is a lot of people out there in real, genuine need. And also, I wanted to talk about homelessness, Taryn, because I don't give money away too much either, because that's not going to solve the problem of homelessness. That's actually just, giving someone $5 in the street. Well, that's not the problem. What your friend is doing by engaging people and trying to get them employed, and it's a really systemic issue when you find yourself on the streets, and it's a really complex issue when you're on the streets. Like it's not just solved by a little bit of like a little bit of a cash injection. And or even food, because people will go, I'll go and buy them food. It's like, well, actually, you can probably get food many places around. Like, food's not the problem in Perth, at least, anyway. So tackling the systemic issues, or tackling some of the systemic problems, i.e. giving someone a house first, giving someone shelter, which enables them to then tackle some of the other issues that they might be facing. Like, how do you recover from a drug and alcohol problem when you're on the streets? Well, it helps if you're in a house first. Stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you're a good point to make is, like, to the individual, I probably wouldn't, because how do you choose one out of the endless numbers that there are in the world? I think that's why I'd give it to an organization, because they know that, you can't just stop being homeless. You need like actual like education on how to stop being homeless, how to get a job, how to maintain a home, because a lot of these people like they suffer from like systemic bias, they suffer from trauma, abuse, etc. You can't just get over that and find a job and a house and not be, it's not just like it's too expensive. There's a lot in the background that's got to do with that. Organizations, there is one, I'll send it through for the podcast notes, that like a government body that has initiatives that do sort of projects like that, and they obviously don't need our money because they budget according to like the taxes and that sort of thing. But organizations like Katie's organization, the Underground Collaborative, that's what it's called. That sort of thing is like privatized, I suppose, on her back. She does get funding and that sort of thing, but she could use private donations as well. So that's why I think the organizations could use the money to help and affect many individuals. So I think, yeah,
it makes more sense too. Like, because like I don't give people money on the streets, because I need it, kind of, and the other thing is, like, I don't know where that's going to really, like Rob was saying, help anything. It's like, well, having something like that is a really good thing to put the money towards, because it's a good charity. It's helping out multiple people, not just like I mean, as charities should be doing. Some don't, unfortunately, but having something like that where the kind of the background behind it and what it's doing is really nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So charity, good. Well, that's a good one. That's going to be tough to beat.
Seems a
Actually,
bit.
the selfless,
Seems a
the
bit
selfless
like.
option.
Well, I
Yeah.
think I should go next then, because then I can break that ice really easily. Really easily.
Go on. Set the timer up. Go on.
Okay. I'm set up right now. My 5 minutes starts now. So this is That's Rank podcast, right? We battle to the death, right? So I'm going to take your idea and I'm going to be like, fuck that.
Devil's advocate.
Yeah, right. That's great. Charity's fantastic. Give to charity. But I am of the opinion where if I can help someone, I definitely will. However, if I was to be suddenly gifted with $50 million, I'm not going to lie. And I don't think this is out of place to say, because I think most people would have this exact same thought. I'm being selfish. I'm doing something for myself because I have taken, I've worked for 24 years of my life, 25 years of my life now. Nope, that'll make me 12. That's illegal. You know what I mean, though. You get my gist.
Yeah.
Like, I've worked very hard to save for stuff, to do stuff. So if I was to get that money, the first thing I would do would not be thinking about anybody else. That'd be secondary, absolutely.
Fair enough.
But first up, I would look after this guy. This guy.
Mhm.
Can I have a
pointing
similar
at
thing
me?
to you, though, Taryn? What's
No,
that?
You said this guy. Are you pointing to me? No, you're pointing to yourself. Sorry.
No, but you'd be definitely like the third or fourth or fifth down the list. For sure.
I would give it all to Rob. Like, hang on, there's a glitch in the video. I'm not saying that. I would give it all to Rob.
I'm just going to take that video and I'm going to hold you to that, Taryn.
Wait, you're going to hold Taryn to me giving you money?
I'm going to hold you both to it. Because I just did have an audio clip of Taryn saying, I'll give it all to Rob. And we also, it was about you.
Well, I hope I win a bag full of rats.
Well, in that case,
hey, I'll take them.
In that case, if that's what I have to do, the first thing I'm doing is spending all $50 million on something, so I don't have to give you shit.
Yeah, that's a good thing as well, like investing it into something.
Well, this is it, right? So there's one thing that I've never had or have any kind of hope in having, and that's a house of my own. Like, I've always been renting and paying people stuff. And
Amen.
And so I think the first thing I would do is I would set myself up in a nice house, get myself, nothing too crazy. I think a lot of people have that idea that if you win lotto, the first thing you've got to do is go buy yourself a fucking mansion or something like that. I ain't doing that. I think the first thing I would do is I'd buy myself an apartment, a big apartment, decent, nice big
Penthouse,
balcony. Penthouse is probably the way to go, because then there's no noise above you other than the sound of nature.
Sound travels upwards.
Beautiful. Oh fuck, it does too. I'm in the basement.
Underground oasis.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like a Bond lair.
Well, yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. That's a great idea. Make myself
an old volcano that parts, and you just fly the helicopter inside.
That's it. That's my rank. I'm going to buy a volcano. That's what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do.
Oh, that is a pretty good answer.
Actually, a private island might be pretty decent. No, I like people. I like people too much. I get really lonely on a private island.
Yeah, you can invite all your friends to your private island.
That is true. But I can also invite friends to my really fancy swanky penthouse apartment.
True. More
now, the reason the apartment is because I'm thinking for the future, right? I'm thinking for the future. I'm going to have all that money. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be seeing some shit. It's just going to be happening, right? So I can lock the door, throw it away, or have someone come in and just, be my housemate. But I think if I had a housemate, though, I'd have to invite them on trips. I'd feel obliged to a little bit.
No, set the boundary. Set the boundary initially.
Thanks, Taryn.
Please feed the cat, because I will not be here. Bye.
Peace.
If you had a housemate, you've just won Lotto Lamb. Do you need a housemate?
Did you have a housemate?
Well, here's the thing though about that though. Like, if you had a housemate, you'd have to choose someone you really trusted, to know that it wouldn't be a case of oh man, can I just borrow $1,000 to go do this thing? You couldn't just get anyone in, right? I think if I had someone like you guys in, for example, I could be like, okay, guys, I'm taking this money, and this is the second thing I do, and probably the third thing, I'd probably look after my family first and get them all sorted. But the third thing I'd do is I would start my own company, and we could just do this for work, even if it made no money.
It would make money though, because we're brilliant.
We are brilliant. That's true. We are brilliant. But even if we can just live off this and do what we wanted to do, I think that's the dream for us. We can just don't have to go to the 9 to 5 every day.
He's an entrepreneur. I love it.
Yeah, start something like that. Get a good studio. Get a good setup. Get everything sussed out. But first thing I need is my own base, my own foundation, my own center. And whilst I've got 30 seconds left, Rob. I've got 30 seconds left, and then you can ask your question.
Okay.
25.
That is not
20.
very nice.
No. No, I'll just finish up by saying that. Like, the first thing I would do is look after me, get myself sorted and based, so I then have the right frame of mind and I'm relaxed in my own person to then go out and do all those other things like help family, help charity,
Yeah.
set a business up, do all that kind of stuff. So that
Pretty
is the
smart.
first thing I do. Me.
You put the oxygen mask on yourself.
That's right. They always say to
that.
do that, right? That's very
Mm.
clever. They always say to do that.
Mhm.
You can't help others if you're suffocating.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
Rob,
the
your
question I was going to
please.
ask, Liam, is where?
Yes. Well, it's the first thing, right? Because I'd obviously diversify and go and buy apartments around. But I think I would probably buy something within the Perth metro area, just because this is where my home is. My family are here. A lot of my friends are still here.
Yeah.
So I think this would actually be a really nice base to come back to. Something by the beach, maybe. So I can look out over the ocean at nighttime, have like a barbecue on the balcony, enough room to have
nice.
enough room for me to set up some poker tables and have some lovely poker games.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Down.
A bar, a nice TV.
Yeah.
You know, just so you can have people around and they can enjoy it with you. Because it's not about like it is about me, but it's also about having a space that you still want people to come to.
Yeah. 100%.
And then I'd buy one in Singapore, and then I'd buy one in Tokyo, and then I'd buy one in.
I think you made a good point about the fact that you've done your time struggling, and you're over it now. So, and there's a difference with like, because that's what I thought that as well. But yeah, I don't feel like I've worked long enough to be able to think about me first. But that's a smart thing to do.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter how long you've worked for. I don't think. I think regardless of what you're up to. Like, say for example, your idea is fantastic, but like obviously devil's advocate, like you were saying. Say for example, you gave all that stuff away, like your first little bit, you went chop, get rid of it. And I know we've spoken before about like how much money does a person really need, but 50 mil, it sounds like a lot, but I mean it is a lot. It is a lot. I'm not going to continue that sentence. But it sounds like a lot. No, it's a lot of money. That's actually quite a lot of money. But like, say for example, you gave some of it away, and then you're like, oh wait, shit, I could have used that for this or for this. But again, 50 million bucks. How much do you need, really?
I'm gonna look up how much the average person makes in their lifetime.
I reckon that it's going to be around about 2.5.
3.3 apparently in Australia.
Really? In a lifetime? Wow.
Yeah. If you have a qualification and if you have children, you can expect to earn around 3.3 million over your working life.
Wait.
Nearly double. Oh, wait, here we go. Nearly double the amount for women in the same category at 1.8 million. So see you later. I'll be earning half of that.
Is that right?
In Australia. Australian Council of Trade Unions, gender pay gap.
See, that's why you've got to get yourself a house first, mate.
I can't be giving shit away. I got to hoard it. That's devastating.
That is bullshit.
I knew there was a gender pay gap, but I didn't know it was that bad.
That's absolutely insane, honestly.
That's horrible.
Still today.
I would buy myself an executive role at every company in Perth. There we go. I changed my answer.
Yeah.
I want to be CEO of everywhere.
That's a lot of effort, though.
I mean, is it? You just pay someone else to do it.
Oh,
because
I see.
I'll be earning the big bucks.
Oh, that's what you do when you're rich, right? You just get everyone else to do your job and still get paid the same. That's how it works.
The tough part about going last, because honestly, I have thought about this, and you guys have more or less covered like what I would do if I won Lotto. Like I would buy a house. I'd actually design a house.
Am I starting your time?
No, not yet, because I'm just kind of
talking.
But I can answer I'm reasoning. Okay, do you want to start my time?
I already have.
So look, I would do that. Like I've actually thought about. I would design like a nice little house, and like probably like a Japanese style house, but not a big house, but just like a nice house. I would look after my friends. I would set up a fund, and I would look for that fund to be generating a consistent income that I could then continually invest into charitable goods and causes and projects. So it's not just giving the money away in one big go. It's actually hopefully creating something a bit more sustainable. So if you set up a scholarship program, for example, you could afford to continue to doing it the year after year after year after year. So I'd do all those kind of things. And honestly, like the reality is I wouldn't live a lavish life. Like I would be quite happy just living a comfortable life. And most, as Len's already touched on, like I wouldn't have to work. So I would be doing stuff like this podcast. I would just be doing the creative projects that I enjoy doing, which for me would be podcasts and film. But you guys have kind of taken the charitable side. You've taken the buying of the house side. So, with my answer,
What does that leave you? What does that leave you, mate?
what does that leave me? I am going to walk to the airport with nothing but my wallet and cards, and I'm going to walk onto the first plane, and I'm going to go wherever the hell it takes me, and that will be the
That's
start of
really
my
cool.
journey. When I arrive, I will buy clothes on arrival. I will stay at the most lavish of penthouses.
Because everyone knows you suck at taking pants.
I would just continue this journey wherever spontaneously I wanted or wished to go. And I would start with nothing except for $50 million. So maybe a bit more than nothing.
Yeah.
And then I would just improvise and spontaneously let opportunity present itself to me to take me on the adventure of all adventures. And
That's a really good one.
And I would continually travel until all $50 million is spent.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
No, I'm not joking.
You said
I'm only joking.
You really want to do this.
No, but that's why. But no, for the purposes of this, so no. But the reality, no. So I'm not actually. I wouldn't actually spend the whole 50. But like in this thought exercise, I have to say the first thing I would do. So the first thing I would do would just be to go to the airport with no bag or nothing, and just get onto a plane. And I would travel first class. God damn it, I'm 6'5", people.
Yeah.
I need business class.
Yeah.
And I would just spontaneously open myself up to an endless adventure. And that's what. And that's I think what I would do. Anything. I'd say yes to everything. Anything that came along. Yep. Anything. Do you want to come to Hawaii with me, Rob? Yep.
Can afford it.
You want to come to Paris? Just go to Paris and eat at the best. Yep. Let's go. Do you want these shoes, Rob?
Yep.
Yep.
I do like the idea though of you just walking into the airport and then walking onto a plane, like just waving your passport around, like you haven't bought a ticket or anything, and they're like, "Sir, you need a ticket." You're like, 50 million. I have 50 million. I will go anywhere. Don't ask me any questions. I'm rich, don't you know?
Rich. In your journey.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But you have to be very careful with that money.
I would, but that's what But like I said, I'm pretty low key. I'm a pretty low key kind of guy. Like I'd keep things pretty low key, and I could afford to pay for security. Like if I really wanted to, I'd get some security.
True.
Just walking down the streets of Chiang Mai in your big old fur coat.
Yeah, my big old fur coat walking around. I've been to Chiang Mai, Liam. I'd go somewhere else. I'd go somewhere I've never been before. I'd just look at a map. I'd go, where to next? Where to next? Uzbekistan. Gone. Let's go. Yeah. And I just go and just have an adventure. And I just endlessly be adventure into adventure to adventure.
That's fun.
But look, and the truth is, if I did actually win Lotto, it would be a combination of all these things. Like I would look after my friends and family. I would set myself up with something that's comfortable but seemingly modest and sustainable here. I would make sure I've got money. So I would make sure I've got my my fuck you money, so to speak. So whatever happens in life, it's like, fuck you, I'm okay. I'm going to be okay. Like whatever happens, I'm okay. Nothing's going to matter. So fuck you, I'm fine. So I would just set myself up with my little bit of fuck you money. I would set my friends and family up. I would set up a fund to kind of give it away to other people. And then in all honesty, I would then go somewhere and just sit and think about how I'm going to spend the rest of it or what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Like I think the beauty of the Lotto is that it takes away pressure. Time is money, right? And the reason we want money is, in a sense, to buy us time. That's why I want money. That's why I don't want to think about money anymore, because I want time to spend with loved ones and to work on things that I want to do and to create things I want to create. That's all. I'd be a happy man with just that.
Yeah. I think it's not out of. I got 7 seconds. Anything else? Time's up.
I'll get some Moe. I'll get some Moe.
It's a Moe, yeah. You get
I
some Moe.
It's pronounced Moet.
It's Moet. It's pronounced mum.
You better get into it, the pronunciation, if you're going to be rich.
Well, here's the thing. The first thing that you would do when you won Lotto, when you went to cash in your ticket, is they give you champagne anyway. This is what I love. Like it's like.
Wait, really?
Yeah, of course they do. They crack it open. It's like, yeah, you've won money, and
let's give us. Oh, do you know what? I feel like rich people get a lot of free shit.
I was about to say, because even like I was watching. No, it's okay. It's a crazy thing though. Like if you're rich, the richer you are, the more shit you just get given. That's right. Like I was watching Drive to Survive, the F1 documentary the other day, and they go to this Austin, Texas track, and these guys make bank, right, driving these cars, and they arrive and they have these $1,000 cowboy boots because it's Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Custom made for each one of them, and they just arrive and they're like, "Hey, here are your custom made cowboy boots."
Stop it.
Here.
Meanwhile, they
And-
could buy 5,000 million pairs.
Yeah. What the fuck? So yeah, so when you win Lotto, it's just like, here you go, here's some Moet and Chandon, and you can kind of smash that back. Chandon.
I don't know how it's.
But it's funny how that's like the pinnacle of wealth when it comes to alcohols.
Yeah.
Like you drink champagne. I fucking hate champagne. If they gave me,
I'd actually buy a bottle of
I'd
scotch.
be
I'd
like,
buy whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
whiskey, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would buy a bottle of champagne. Like I would get my friends in a place and have a big party.
Oh yeah,
once
100%.
I've taken the charity amount away from myself and invested it, I think I would be like, done. Shall we rank? Because I've got my rank order.
I think I also have my rank order. Yeah, I do as
Let's
well.
just go around the table one
Rob,
more time. So, charity,
apartment or house for myself. Yep.
Apartment or house, and I'd do.
And Rob's going to hijack a plane.
I'm going to hijack a plane. Spontaneous
I want
adventure.
to make mine more specific because I went into the homeless thing. So I would say, let's say Katie's charity because I mentioned hers.
Yeah. Okay.
I would put a
That's
chunk
fair.
aside and put it into that because I know it doesn't have like the admin fees are legit admin fees. I know that it's not bullshit. And because if you say charity, people go, oh, but you don't know it's actually going somewhere. And that's true. The South African charities, there are some that don't actually go to the people that you think it's going to or the animals. So I want to be specific and say that charity because,
That's fair.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know that one.
Yeah.
That's
you know that one.
Taryn
You know it's legit.
Taryn accredited. Tick of the certification.
It's got the ticket, Taryn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Well,
So you've got the ranks. Oh, hold on. I went last, right? So
you went
I
last.
ranked
So
first.
you got to go first. That's right.
Go first. So I am going to say, and this was really because someone said I was working yesterday, and someone said that to me. What can I do for you? Well, win Lotto, and I'm like, you really do need it. So I am going to go charity number one, and particularly I used to work in homelessness. My early interest in research and in like progressing my social work career was actually looking at the issue of homelessness. And then I've worked in hospitals and homeless. I've worked in EDs and in a mental health hospital, and a lot of homelessness obviously is really strongly linked to that. And so, having tackled the issue firsthand, I think that's where I'd like to see the money go. That's where it'd be. Housing first, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like people need that solid base before they can kind of start to take actual therapeutic steps. So the housing first model or a low threshold model is not to demand somebody fixes their drug and alcohol issues or addresses their mental health issues or changes their behavior in order to be suitable to get to housing, which is legitimately the way a lot of the housing services work now. The low threshold housing first model is like, here's a house. Here's a house. Then we wrap in the support, and then we kind of get you then we help with the education, help with the employment, and help you slowly kind of build those steps together. So that's my number one.
So I mean that makes sense.
homelessness.
That means number two is mine because you just said everything that is about mine just then. So that means mine is number two.
Hey.
Finding a house, setting yourself up, getting yourself all sorted.
Man.
Yeah, same. It's definitely not the same. It's definitely not the same. I'm joking.
I mean, so because the reality is, like, if I did win Lotto, I would do that. I would do what you do, Liam. I would do what you both have done first. But I did like my answer.
Yeah,
so
I did like your answer too.
I'm gonna put myself second, Liam. I'm gonna say, because I think you got to think bigger. You just won Lotto, man. Think bigger. Like
And
I didn't. But a second. Wait a second.
You
the thing was the first thing you do.
Strata fees.
Wait a second. I'm not going to give a fuck about strata fees.
Some good investments.
I'm not giving a fuck about strata fees. I got $50 million fucking dollars. Who gives a fuck about strata fees? Jesus Christ. Also, just to think bigger. First of all, sir, how dare you? Because I said I would buy the house first doesn't mean I'm not thinking about other things I'm doing.
The biggest.
Jesus fucking Christ! I gotta get myself set up first.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So
think bigger.
I think that's I feel like looking after yourself is key, but it's not to say you wouldn't do more with it.
I said things I would do.
50 million. Yeah.
I said all the other things I would do.
You did, yeah.
You did.
Thanks for listening, Rob.
I listened.
Glitchy microphone.
He's pulling the piss. He's pulling your leg.
I listened, Liam. But when I think about if I think about the question, I just like the idea of walking to the airport with nothing but a credit card and a passport.
No shit.
And they're like,
I love that too.
Yeah, let's go.
I love that
Let's go
too.
for adventure. And then I'd buy a house. I'd buy a house at the end of it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Taryn.
Oh,
no, I was
bristling.
next. I was next.
So I'm going to go. Me too. You three. Sorry, Liam.
Yeah, I got you. I'm putting myself first. I'm putting myself first because I think getting onto a plane, don't get me wrong, I would do that in a fucking heartbeat. But I want to make sure that all of my affairs are in order first before I do that. I want to go away and just be like, okay, I'm just going to get on the next plane and then come back and be like, yeah, well, of course, man, you're going to be organized. Like,
I would not.
No, that much money, you need to be organized. That much money, you 100% have to be organized. Because otherwise, you're going to burn through that 50 million and come back and just be like, well, you know.
And just be back where you started.
This is what happens, though. Exactly.
Have some great stories. Have some great stories.
People win the lotto, and then before they know it, they're fucking broke. They're broke. Get yourself sorted first. Number one. Yeah.
Okay.
I got really excited about that. Sorry. I am going to I'm going to put Rob in the travel number 2, only based on what I would do, because I do think that whilst giving the charity is a really lovely thing to do, I am going to say that a lot of people say they're going to do that, but they don't. Like it's never the first.
Watch.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to hold you to it.
Give me 50 mil and I'll prove you wrong.
Okay, if I win 50 mil, you'll be like the 5th person on the list. And I'll give you that $50 and I'll see.
50,000, it's fine.
Just take that winning lotto ticket and give it to that homeless guy on the streets. That's the true test.
That's never happening. No. I think I like the idea of charity, but I think a lot of the times it's like, Rob, you watch Survivor, Taryn, you watch Survivor. Back in the early seasons, people were like, what are you going to do with your money? They're like, I'm really going to give it to this charity. Fuck off, you are. You're not going to do that. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to take that money and spend it on yourself. And whilst the giving to charity is a really noble cause, and I would do it as part of my winnings, because you don't need $50 million. First thing I do, not a chance. Not a chance.
Fair enough. Okay. So for my rank, I think just where I'm at in life right now, I'm going to put the charity one number 1 because I don't know where I want to establish myself. I agree that putting yourself first and like establishing a home, a base, something to come back to, that's super important, but it isn't for me right now. I feel like I would be way too indecisive about where that money goes and what funds to put it in. I don't even gain that much interest on my accounts. I know I should really be on better bank accounts, that sort of thing, but I don't, and I can't be bothered to think about that right now. I'm sure I will regret it in the future.
Yeah.
But I think the charity thing for me, because it's so close to my heart right now. Number 2, I think I would definitely do the travel thing because I'm literally doing that with like under 20K in my bank account. So I think on those travels, I'll probably find like the motivation and the things that I find the most secure. So if I know, my mum's struggling, I would send her money. If I know that I want a house in Perth because I want to come back to it, then I would do that when I'm on the travels and stuff. But I feel like realistically, once I've given a chunk, my $5 percentage comparison out of the 50 mil into this cause, I can then feel good about spending whatever I want on my travels and investing some of it into like an interest saver account.
Yeah.
And then for me, the third priority is looking after myself and establishing my future.
Sure.
So that's why I rank it that way.
Yeah, that's fine because you're at an age now where it's kind of like, if I had 50 mil, and trust me, I'd probably do the same thing if I was, my mid to late 20s. The thing I would do, I'd be like, I don't have to worry about a house, I don't have to worry about any kind of shit. I'm fucking off. I'm out of here. See you later. So it makes sense. Yeah. And if you're doing it in that order as well, giving to charity first makes more sense because it's kind of like, well, at the end of the day, I might not have anything left after.
I don't want to piss it away. Yeah.
Well, there we go.
So when you win lotto, they don't give it to you straight away. They make you wait 2 weeks.
You have to wait,
and then you go. You have a meeting, and they link you with a financial advisor, and then they give you the money. Which I think the idea of waiting, is a good idea because I think you got to take some time. Which is why I'll argue. Jump on the plane, go have a think about it. Because you can spend 50 million now, or you can spend 49,900,000, in like next year. Like we have a bit more time to really process. There's no rush with 50 mil. There's no rush. Take your time.
It's kind of disgusting thinking about how much money it is.
Yeah, it is. It's too much money. It's too much money. It's too much money. All right. Well, guys, that's it. We got a bit fiery in there, which I think we've lacked for a while, which is good. We've lacked a bit of
Fight.
fire to the death.
That's true.
In fact,
At least
someone
you
gave me
guys
that.
can't knock each other out because it's a really messy cleanup every time that happens.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Mm.
I actually had someone say to me the other day, "You guys keep saying fight to the death, but you have like a really nice discussion at the end." So
just holds me like, I respect your decision. However,
Yeah.
I disagree.
yeah,
Behind the scenes, we're like, what did you fucking say, mate? You want to go?
yeah. We have to bring that death to the actual
Yeah.
podcast now.
Yeah,
It's the
okay. Done.
Which it's actually part of the reason why we do this remotely now is because we were getting too angry with each other in person.
Yeah.
Like just fucking throwing fists and shit.
If people give us more controversial topics, we'll fight.
Oh, dude, let's get some controversial ones. If you guys have any controversial opinions, don't give us those. If you have any controversial topics that you'd like us to rank, let me immediately rephrase. Send it our way. Something that's going to fire us up, get us going. We definitely like that. If you yourself have a different thing that you would do with your lotto winnings, please share with us. Put them in the comments, leave us a message, do all that kind of stuff. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say as well. But I think that's going to wrap us up for today, guys. What do you reckon?
Who's the winner?
That's what we're going to find out right now. Well, in third place today was myself in being smart and establishing myself before I go away. Number 3.
So selfish. What?
Fuck yeah. So I said that. I said I was selfish.
I know. I'm just saying. Just let's put it in the summary. Yeah.
Doubling down. So yeah, I'll put that in the poll.
It is
Would you rather?
It is
Would you rather be
self-preservative?
What would you rather, charity or selflessness? Nope, that's your selfishness. And I reckon everyone would be like selfish. Actually, no, everyone would say charity.
But we should put a poll
and
up.
then be selfish.
No, but like we should put up like who would actually donate to charity, because I don't think I would in like other positions. But for this case, I think that's why I'd have to get it off the bat, because I'd be like,
yeah, I see.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Number 2, Rob.
Spontaneous adventure. Spontaneous, endless adventure.
Yes, and number 1.
Helping the homeless with Katie Lou's The Underground Collaborative.
Thanks, Katie Lou. Go check it out. If you want to give to Katie Lou's charity, please go and do it. What's it called? Underground Collective?
Collaborative. The Underground Collaborative.
Perfect.
Nice.
Well, do we have, dare I say, any final thoughts?
I mean, I always open the floor to you guys because I always jump. I've always got a final thought, but unless you've got,
honestly, this has kind of become just us throwing to you now. To be honest with you,
yeah, we're like
always so good.
May I have the final thought?
Absolutely,
today?
yes, please do.
I think life is nothing without a bit of hope. So I'm going to change this negative approach to investing in the lottery and just find better ways to do it, because I clearly like giving back. So if I can invest in lotto tickets the lottery is also a very good way of giving back. But if I can be more decisive by figuring out which scratchies I want to buy and all that, life is full of hope. I think if you don't have a hat in the ring, then you have no chance of benefiting from that. But at the same time, you can do something good. Putting a couple of dollars aside every week or every month, setting a goal, and just making your life the best that it can be, whether it's giving money to a cause that you really care about, whether it is taking that adventure of the lifetime to have a very cool story and potentially change your life forever in a really fun, adventurous way, or whether it's buckling down and looking after yourself and those around you and having a really secure, safe haven to come back to when you've done living your absolute best life, to come back and live an even better life, because you don't have anything to worry about.
Amen. Beautifully said.
Well done.
We'll see you next Tuesday.